Hi, this is Rich Lipinski from My Next Car Buying Advocacy. This is the first, I hope, of many face-to-face discussions and reviews about my experiences in driving cars and letting people know what I think of them. And so I'm currently today in the new BMW X3. This one's optioned up. This is the 2-litre S, but it's optioned up with the M Sport package. It's all new. So compared to the previous model, it looks different from outside. It's much more muscular, more angular, all new chassis, lighter, stronger. Engine is still the 2-litre, but it's been worked, so it's got more torque. It's got 219 newton meters of torque rather than 270. Slow 0 to 100, low 8 seconds, so it's brisk. As a driving package, you can feel the car feels really solid, more refined, much more engaging to drive with the M Sport and the package with the sport steering wheel. It feels really good and chunky. But what I thought I would discuss about this one is the driving perspective in terms of SUVs now have become the substitute for wagons, the old family sedan. Of course, we know sedans have diminished very much on the market, and most people naturally look in SUV. Now, the advantages in SUV are they're higher. And so people's perception of safety increases because they can see better and higher. And, obviously we know it's a big family hauler, all the kids in here. And sometimes some SUVs, and a lot of them can compromise in terms of the fact is they're also very heavy vehicles. And so more stopping distance, heavier turn, they can drink more fuel, so hence a lot of people are starting to buy diesels because they save some money on the diesel. But even the petrol engines now are becoming much more fuel efficient with their turbocharging, so they can produce very good power but great torque at low revs, so therefore still producing good fuel economy, especially on the open road. The difference is not huge between a good petrol, lower capacity petrol turbo. But what about driving? Is driving SUVs, do you compromise the driving experience? I love cars and I love driving. I love the feel. Even when I drive my kids, I want to still feel like I can enjoy the car. So does the BMW do this? Well, it's been known to be called the ultimate driving machine. And certainly with the new crop of BMWs, that's certainly coming back to the fore. And this is certainly a better driving proposition than the previous model, which I have to own up to is that I have the previous one and my wife drives. It's a 2-litre and it's actually a very good car, but this one is better now. It's better because it just feels more solid, more connected to the road. The difference also is it just feels more refined and it just feels quieter. When you press the engine, it's with the extra torque, it just seems zippier. There's no flat spots. Not that there was a flat spot of the other one, but you just feel that extra ease in the way it drives. The 8-speed ZF gearbox is beautiful, so it changes whenever you want. It's as good as you get in an automatic transmission, in a conventional one. And the steering feel, yeah, it's light. When you press sport, you get modes here, Eco Sport, which is very economical. It's got a stop-start system. Comfort means the steering's quite loose, but still connected. When you put in sport, everything firms up, the steering firms up. The mapping on the accelerator and the engine changes and basically holds the gears longer. It's more responsive. You don't have to press the accelerator as much to get a response. So when I pressed it in that, it basically feels good, and the weighting is nice and chunky. So if I was hauling kids around with the family, I'd still quite enjoy this. And this car would be very competent in the mountains or just in the few curves. So it's not one of those cars that leans everywhere. No, it's actually very sure-footed. It's got good composure and control. Is it flat and hard? No, it's got a very good compromise. Some of the great suspension specialists always talked about, if you're going to adjust the suspension to get better performance out of it, it's not about changing the springs, it's all about shockers and rebounds. And I think BMW do that very well. I've done this very well in this car. So it feels really planted. There's not much body roll, but not at the compromise of passenger comfort and the way it feels. And when it hits a bump, it's not harsh. It absorbs it really well. I'll be driving into some hills here. I'm currently in Warrandyte Way. Driving this car, and I'm going to be going through a few turns, not at particularly fast speeds, but I'll get a chance to further experience the dynamics, and I'm expecting it to be very accurate on the way it turns and gives me some feedback. So, you know, buying a family medium SUV doesn't mean you have to compromise always on the way the car handles or feels. Obviously, this is more in the luxury mark. What are the car's natural competitors? Well, the natural competitors are really Audi Q5 in terms of size. You've got the Mercedes GLC. The other two probably stepped up in the last few years with more attractive and certainly advanced interiors that people really liked, and BMW started to lag behind. Well, BMW started to step up. The interior is much better. This one's got an optional digital dash, but even that, there's a conventional look in the sense of the old analog system that was BMW was renowned for. But with the full digital, it is a different, more special space to be in. In the stereo, the basic one here is a good sounding stereo. A lot of depth. I'm not sure you can hear it. And is a step up from the basic unit that I have in the previous generation X3. So the driving experience is vastly improved. That's really good. What are the other competitors? You've got, I suppose, the Jaguar, not the F-Pace, the mid-size Jaguar, which is a very good driver's car, but probably this is more spacious now. Very practical in the back too. The size hasn't increased, but it's a good size because this car, even though it's an X3, has grown to the size of the original BMW X5. So with the 550 litre minimum space capacity, then I think it folds out to 1600. It's more than adequate. It's got a really good, I'm around about 6 foot. It's got a really good rear room, headroom for adults up to 6 foot or so or more, and because the seats are fairly upright, you're comfortable, and certainly very good for teenagers. So it's a very practical hauler for the family. Pretty economical because it's got the 2-litre turbo. Obviously you can spec up, and there's a lot of people go for the diesels, a lot of torque in those cars. But as an entry level, and you know what's entry level in prestige car, there's always some extras added in there, and so they can put the price up. Still a very impressive drive for the first time in it compared to the old model. So should you consider this, putting into your shopping list of cars to consider? If you've been in a previous X5 owned one, yes, definitely, because it's definitely an improved interior, exterior, and it's certainly an improved drive, certainly more refined, and it's worth a test drive when you're looking through this mid-range SUV prestige. I suppose you're looking at 70,000 plus, and as far as the budget will go with all the extras. Even now I'm going up a hill, and it's I've just touched the accelerator, and it effortlessly pulls up, no fuss, very nicely, just turning the steering wheel, very accurate. I'm coming up to a really tight 45-degree turn, it's probably 30k. I just turn around, press the accelerator a bit, hugs through, doesn't lean much. Very easy. I can point it accurately. I know what it's doing. I can feel the car, the chassis on the bum of my seat. It gives me a lot of confidence and very enjoyable and easy to drive. And this is quite a narrow road going through here in Warrandyte. So I hope I've given you a bit of a flavour. Yes, definitely worth a look at. And I look forward to talking to you next time on a more face-to-face, any opportunities I get to test drive cars. I'm looking forward to test driving the new BMW 330i, which won Car Sales, I think, Drive Car of the Year, and that's very much BMW 3 Series coming back to the old ultimate driving machine. So I'll be very interested to drive one and see my impressions, and see when a client comes up to me and I'm recommending cars in this sort of category with the SUVs, and certainly with the 3 Series Audis and all that, how that stacks up and whether it matches their needs. I hope you have a good week. Enjoy, and until next time.